G'day, guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You're here with me, Steve and Tazza. We're looking to week 4 of the Premier League today. And as always, we cover the game of the week. Today's game of the week, or this week's game of the week, rather, should I say. Not involving any of the big six. We're going elsewhere based on the ladder. Tazza, we're looking at Brighton and Leeds today. Two teams that are up there on the at the pointy end of the table, both on 7 points, 2 wins and a draw from the opening 3 games. They're riding pretty high at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, game of the week, obviously, we're not looking at the top 6, but yeah, we're looking at the top of the ladder. So why could it not be game of the week? They're two teams that are playing pretty good football, two teams that we didn't expect to be playing this well of football. And yeah, I mean, Leeds have just been all their new signings have really taken well to the league. Aronson's been good. Not a new signing, but Rodrigo has completely taken over that Rafinha role.
Yeah, he seems to rekindle, doesn't
he? Yeah, 4 goals in 3 games. He's at the top of the charts at the moment. And Brighton, I mean, they're getting contributions all over the field after losing Cucurella and Basuma in the off season. So it's going to be a good game. It's obviously it doesn't have the glitz and the glamour of the games that we're used to as games of the week, but it's going to be competitive, and I think that's the best thing. This game could be quite a good one to watch.
So the previous games played between these sides, the last 4 is heavily favours Brighton. 2 wins and 2 draws. The 2 wins in Brighton's favour, of course. Can you see it going this way towards Brighton? For me, I would tip my hat more towards Leeds.
Yeah, being at the Amex, I mean, it's got to count for something.
Yeah,
I do think Leeds are playing the better football as a whole. So I would probably lean there. Yeah. But being at the Amex, I mean, that throws another dimension. But if gun to my head, I'm liking Leeds. I reckon they're going to keep on a roll. I just like the way that they're playing, and it's not free flowing. It's not perfect football, but what Jesse Marsch is doing there, it looks good.
Yeah, he's got to play in a very pressing, high intensity style of football. Somewhat similar to what we saw Bielsa do there. However, we're kind of yet to see Leeds really tested defensively in a game, I think. So it'll be interesting to see when that does happen, how they adjust to it, because obviously Bielsa didn't like to adjust, and that was really his undoing in the end of the day. So I think if Leeds can get that part of their game, right, know when to defend and when to set up, your 2 backs or 4, defend solidly and maybe look on the counter rather than just press. They'll have a successful season. Brighton have looked obviously really good. Lost probably their 2 best players in, like you said, Cucurella and Basuma, but they haven't put a foot wrong so far. They've looked no different as a side with those 2 players out. You could argue they've looked better with them out. I don't know. That's up for that. That's a topic up for discussion, I suppose. But the winner of this game puts them in a real good spot. 10 points out of a possible 12.
12
is a really good start for these sides.
Yeah, I mean, most of these sides are used to taking 40 to 50 points in a season. So you're grabbing 10 after 4, you're pretty chuffed. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great game and keen to watch.
We've had Leeds finishing in our preseason predictions. We had Leeds finishing in the relegation zone. Now look, it's obviously still early days. Anything's possible, but it doesn't look like it's going that way for them based off of the way they've started, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think everyone expected Marsch to, especially after the departures of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. Yeah, I don't think anyone really expected them to replace them straight away with ready-made players that were going to hit the ground running. But I mean, no one really probably rated Rodrigo at the way he's been playing. So he's been the ace in the pack, I suppose. That with Rafinha stepping out, he can step up and call the side his own. I don't, Bamford didn't play on the weekend. I think he may be injured.
Wouldn't
So
surprise me.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's probably going to have to take
But the
the
form
mantle
Rodrigo's
as.
in,
Mm,
you wouldn't.
why would you have Bamford back?
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice option to have down the track, but while Rodrigo's humming, you got to play the hot hand.
And likewise, Brighton, we expected good things from them. I think it was a top half of the table, a top 10 prediction from us for Brighton, and they've obviously started off perfectly in that sense. They've just got to keep the form going. They started this way in a very similar fashion last season, and dropped off quite heavily. So, they've really got to focus on trying to maintain that, I think. If you are a fan of either Leeds or Brighton, we want to hear from you. Dizzle, the long time listener of the channel, he's brought the bandwagon back out for Leeds, back in now that they've started off the season pretty well. So Dizzle, we want to hear from you, mate. We want you hanging around. Don't just jump off the bandwagon if the wheels start falling off. Stick with your team and support them throughout the season, mate. Tazza, moving on to the next segment, and the final segment of the video is our unpopular opinions. We enjoy having a little discussion on these. We've got a couple again from ourselves here. Do you want to kick us off, or do you want me to start it?
I'll kick off. Look, this is one that I don't know really how you get around. It's more like a rule that I don't like and that can be exploited.
Okay.
But penalties should not count towards golden goal awards. I don't.
Oh.
Yeah, golden boot awards. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Gee.
It's something that I don't know. The wrong players can get on the end of too many. Well, I say the wrong players, but some players just get on the end of way too many goals, and it skews the ledger a little bit. Like we saw Heung-min Son, no
Yeah.
penalties,
No.
and he won the golden boot. That to me, that he was the true recipient of that award. If you can, I think it was 22 he finished with.
I think so, yeah.
22 in open play. That's huge.
You've realised that probably takes away a couple of Salah's golden boots.
Yeah, I know, but still, I literally thought of it as soon as I was saying it. I was like, I don't know if I should be saying this, but
so
yeah,
you're for this
probably
change?
would.
You would be for this change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like where it comes from, because, yes, it was spoken about Heung-min Son's performance last season, the fact that he scored 22 or 23 goals from open play and no penalties. But at the end of the day, it just goes down as a joint golden boot, and that's the end of it, really. Whereas he would have a solo golden boot, given the fact that there's no penalties involved in a golden boot. So yeah, it's an interesting point.
This is why we call it unpopular opinions, because I'm pretty sure it's quite unpopular, but it's just the way I feel.
I feel like there might be a few people out there that would agree with you.
Yeah, hopefully, but yeah, I feel like it's a minority view.
All right, well, I'll give you one. We're dipping into the international side of football here, and that is that the managers of the national team, like the players, should be the same nationality of said team.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. Yeah, because it stops the managers from shopping around and all that kind of bullshit.
However, does that, I agree, but look at it on the other side of the scale. Let's have a look at where the majority of the best managers in the world come from. Likely, Europe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would this just then create a problem of you would have 5 or 6, let's just say, powerhouse countries in the world, and everybody else is just shit. Not necessarily shit, because obviously the players are still there, but you need you got to have the manager to back that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it creates. I think it reduces the amount of opportunities for top level management at an international level. I mean, if you've got, say, obviously the Dutch make good managers, the Germans make them, the French have a few, but a team like, I mean, Brazil's got a couple. I think. Oh no, sorry, I was going to say Bielsa, but he's Argentinian. I think. Yeah. So I mean, it really narrows the pot down. I think you in the say Bielsa and Argentina. How many other Argentinian top level managers are there? There's probably quite a few that
Diego Simeone comes to mind. But okay,
there you go.
Let's use this as an example. Give me a world-class Belgium coach, manager.
That was the other one I had in mind as well, with Belgium. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
off the top of my head, it's hard to
But how heavily does that? Would that affect the national team?
Yeah, it's got to play some part. Absolutely. I mean, to have a top level coach, it can transform a team. We've seen what it does at club level. Yeah. So, no, I quite like that point, but it does add a level of romanticism, I think, in terms of having a manager of the nationality of the team. It would add us more of a sense of pride, I think.
Yeah. Okay, last one from me. A bit of an older one, but I feel like it's still valid. And that's that Ruben Neves could play for any of the top 6 sides and fit straight into their team.
Yeah. Probably not City, but I think the rest of them, I think he's thought straight in. Chelsea, yes. Liverpool, yes. Crying out for a midfielder. Arsenal, I mean, they've been good to start off, but he would definitely slot in. Tottenham, United, we would also love to have him, even with Casemiro jumping on board.
I think he'd work quite well with Casemiro next to him.
It would be quite a deadly combination, to be honest. So, 100%. I think it's. I'm surprised he hasn't made the move yet. Whether that's a lack of interest or he quite likes being around his Portuguese mates.
Portuguese national team.
I'm not sure, but I'm surprised he hasn't made the move already, because we've seen the skill and the talent he has. It's been undoubted, and it's been proven over a couple of seasons. A few seasons now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was far too big for Wolves when they were in the Championship when he moved there. He was highly touted before he moved to them when they were still in the Championship the year before they came up. So put it this way, I definitely don't think he weakens any of the top 6 sides besides maybe City. Maybe. But I mean, look, you put him in there, and he's still obviously going to perform and do a really good job. So, I'm not surprised. I am surprised to the fact that he hasn't made a move. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen maybe in the next few years if he really wants to push and maybe win something in his career in terms of the league.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's going to wrap us up. We want to know your unpopular opinions. We want to bring him to the video. Tazza and I we'll keep on coming up with our own, but we love the interaction, so we want to know yours. But that's going to wrap us up. Looking forward to the next and upcoming week of Premier League football. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week in reviews of this week's games. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.